Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. It was a bit unorganized, or disorganized rather. We kind of forgot that there was a game today.
Yeah, so I'm glad that anybody who's filing into the stream is joining us now. There was just a little bit of a scheduling mix-up, and make sure to reach out to your friends because today's game should be a close one. And having close games always makes the viewing experience that much more exciting. This is the final game in week 4, I believe. Or, sorry, final game in week
5. This is actually week 5, yeah.
Yeah, final game in week 5. And this game is Elo game versus Salty Skulks. Elo is the team headed by Crowbar, and Salty we saw play the other day.
Salty or Skulks doesn't really have a real captain. They are all deputies, so I think Green Rex is pretty much acting captain. So we'll just say Green Rex is the captain of Saltier Skulks, and if anyone is salty about that, I don't give a damn.
It's a vertical org. They are, spreading their talent and their leadership amongst a bunch of really great players. This is Ritual's team that we saw went 3. I think Ritual and Green Rex. Ritual, I believe, is sort of the organizing force amongst a lot of these players. But on their roster, we have a lot of great players. I'm looking at the roster. If you guys go to nsl.org and go to the contest tab, click simply on the word that says contests, not on that little drop-down menu, just the top button, that contest button. You can bring up the season and jump into the different teams and the team members. And if you are opening that, I'm not sure if you have the ability to show it on stream, but that will include Datsu, Green Rex, Ritual, P-Stash, Risk, Nano, Zankar, and Yuffie. A number of those players are just like 30% accuracy plus Marine players and just excellent lurks and fades. And Ritual is a heck of a commander. You saw him slamming up against Cats yesterday. And it was really a battle of minds as both commanders were really flexing their ability to play the game and be adaptive to the other player's playstyle.
Looks like Saltier Skulks has too many players right now. It's a luxury problem to have. But we have actually 13 players on the server as of now. Make that 14. Oh no, there's just someone left, okay.
Well, it's perfectly fine to have a deep roster, and it's good to have people available for the round. I'm sure they're discussing right now who they want to field. They have a lot of great players that they can join up right now.
Yeah, absolute luxury problems.
Now, I wasn't aware, is Joshi on a team right now?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest. But I think he has to be, otherwise he wouldn't be allowed to merc right now, because one of the merc rules is mercs are only legit if there is no player available.
Well, we'll have to adjudicate whether or not Joshi is going to be playing as commander for this alien squad. Although it could be... Yeah, no, that definitely is Joshi, I believe. Unless Ritual...
No, I enabled official mode. So.
Yeah. Official mode is forcing names. Cool. Well, this is definitely a very competitive version of their squad, fielding some really scary players. Yuffie is a recent addition to our competitive scene, only playing the game for about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years, but is an absolute menace, especially on the Marine side. I think for a lot of players that are newer, the Alien game sort of kind of evolves and grows. I think you can definitely rely on Yuffie on the as a lurk on the alien side of this field, but I identify him as just one of those people who just has incredible aim.
By the way, I looked it up, and yeah, it's. I think the player we quote-unquote lost was MST, so either MST or Joshi both would have been mercs, so it doesn't really matter. They didn't have another player, they just didn't use the other merc. So Joshi is not on the team, he's a merc, but yeah, he's replacing the other merc, MST.
Yeah, so I guess they're scrambling to find another body to make sure they have a full 6-man roster to field right now. But it's interesting to see this team playing without Ritual in the comm chair. I think this is the first time we're going to see Salty without their dependable commander and one of the people that helps organize the team. I think Joshi is going to be a pretty good replacement. Joshi, also just an incredible field player. Definitely more of a menace if he decides to jump out and assist his team on the field. That's very likely to happen on the alien side in Nexus. It's just one of these rounds where the commander really has to play the backfield and make sure their natural resources don't get pressured. So it's probably going to be a pretty big addition to this team, although Ritual has the command side of the field really on lockdown. Joshi might be one of those players who can anticipate and get in good ambush positions to help hold overhang and storage. So we'll see how that works out. I think we didn't spend very much time on Crowbar's Elo Gain team. I think I'm a little bit less familiar with these guys on an individual level, except for Crowbar is a player that I've been playing with for a long time and I think has been playing NS since Natural Selection 1. He definitely is an old school player. If you know the man, you might have had the happy opportunity to watch him play the accordion. That's right, he's good with his fingers, ladies and gentlemen, and that will be put to the test as he meds his team during this round.
Yeah, the round is about to start. Round 1, Elo Gain versus Saltier Skulks. Here we go.
All right, a partial build in the base. They're assuming that they're not going to have to really... The fight is much more difficult to engage with in transit. Well, only Yuffie is going to be there to try to get a few parasites pushed out of the room before he's able to land a single parasite on these Marines. And it's an interesting choice from this Marine, skipping transit and immediately starting the Enclave res node. This might have worked on a more standard version of the aliens playing this map, but you can see that they're preferring the north side of the map. Datsu is able to take the fight against the first Marine, and Yuffie cleans up the second. Crowbar, the commander, has been parasited. There's full intelligence on this alien squad, and the two Marines scratching their head in overhang are not doing a whole lot, at least until they round the corner and start to put pressure on the enemy base.
Yeah, Methil is the only one not being parasited, but now he gets cleaned up too, because 3 Skulks when you're reloading is way too many.
Yeah, and it might be one of those occasions where any person in that position would be able to clinch those kills, but we do see Joshi taking a double against 2 aggressive Marines.
Oh, Risk just coming from behind, cleaning up. But Lyra now, not parasited, and just decides to build the RG. Has to be done. There's 2 unbuilt RGs on the map now for the Marines. The other one being transit, obviously.
Yeah, P-Stash in a really far forward position with a single clog wall and some and some webbing. I mean, this is kind of a classic thing that I see Pistache doing a lot. We talked about a little bit the other day, having a semi-permeable gorge wall that is just entices Marines to come through and try to chase the gorge, but has like more significant trap on the other side. So far, we haven't really seen anybody make it past up into assembly, but I think it's a pretty good way of playing around as a gorge. It definitely is a lot quicker to set up. And having it be so much quicker maybe allows you to push your gorge, your gorge structures a little bit farther forward, allowing you to create that slowdown and have it be more easily, moved, easily manipulated. Yuffie doesn't want to take the fight against two Marines fully reloaded, but is tracking them closely, just slowing them down by being that parasite from around the corner.
By the way, what do you think about the extraction tunnel? I mean, with the forward gorge position being in assembly, I personally would have put it a bit more forward. I mean, it's safe where it is, unless Marines somehow find a way through the bend, but I guess that would require a structure to boost, and then maybe even more than one Marine.
Yeah, let's talk about that in just a second, because I want to just highlight the fact that Pistache on that gorge just boosted himself with two clogs into that vent to come across, skipping a huge amount of running into staging, which definitely saved this RT. He's going to keep this RT up by just playing smart and moving smart. The gorge is a little bit less glamorous of a movement options, but they do have strong ways of getting around the map with those clogs. But going back to what you said, this tunnel
risk.
is
Really risky again.
Ooh, Yuffie, oh my god, almost dying in his egg, the very bottom of the field, stuck now against this single Marine. Mephiles almost killing him as he eggs. What a tragedy. That is definitely a sign of hubris. Icarus flying too close to the sun, but this time the wings don't even get to be melted.
Pistache for the gorge was 2 hits away from dying here, but made it out just barely. And meanwhile, Marines have now conquered staging and lockout. That means the entire north half of the map is desisted.
And while there's been plenty of income for this alien team for the beginning of this round, Nexus is one of those low econ maps, especially if you're playing on alien. It's very difficult to hold more than a couple of res nodes, but now having that tunnel at the back of extraction instead of on the platform RT feeling a little bit weaker than it might otherwise been. It's so important to get this hive up so that your sys chain isn't reliant on going through staging.
Weapon 3 already started. They risk losing his lurk. I mean, I guess with 2 lurks already down in this game, they decided that Weapons 3 is more important than Armor 2.
Oh my gosh. And almost taking Green Regs too, forcing him back to that gorge. This extraction tunnel, I'm not entirely sure it's been scouted this entire game, but Meth is about to see it. And it's been a really interesting decision making from Crowbar to do the early game looked very different than it normally would have, and then skip Armor 2 for so long, but the meds are on point, and so are the accuracies of the individual Marine players.
Yeah, Domestos and Bows a bit lost here in the center of the map, just dancing with risk.
Yeah, and it goes to show you, like, sometimes just the threat of you leaking on a Marine or the threat of you biting a Marine is enough to slow them down for additional reinforcements. And yes, you're totally right. These 2 lost souls aren't going to be able to accomplish anything. And eventually the alien pack finds them and cleans them up.
Datsun now in a bit of a pickle here. 20 HP. That's 2 bullets. So has to wait for Yuffie to clean out Poppy.
And Gorge, P-Stash back in staging, ready to redrop this res node.
And Mev with a shotgun, so Green Rex has to keep its distance.
Yeah,
But,
plenty of big open spaces on this map, Nexus, though, and he can be spiked down from quite far away.
Yeah, so now that Bose is here, that ability is limited too.
Yeah. Sometimes this pairing of having one shotgun and one rifle feels so much stronger than just having a shotgun. Of course, once fades start to come out, that can switch pretty quickly. But at the moment, Bose needs to keep these life forms off.
Nice hit from Mephilis. Have a quick look. One shell is about to go down to Lida. Pistoled it. And yeah, Green Rex had to get the fuck out of there, and the tunnel is finally... Oh, is it? No, it's not going down. Unless Bose pulls it off. Really nice.
Wow.
And now
Good
he has,
shooting.
Yeah, and he picked up Mev's shotgun that unfortunately was quite empty, and therefore he goes down to a Skulk. But yeah, it was a great show of skill. And the Marines are in staging again.
Yeah, I think partially because I'm a little bit less familiar with these Marine players, a pan-European team. I sort of expected them to be having a harder time in the beginning of this map, but I think Crowbar is very adaptable, and on a map like Nexus that requires you to be thinking a little bit differently than most maps that we play competitive, Crowbar really showing that he's got a good sense of how the game should be developing. And these Marines have been able to hold 4 or 5 RTs for most of the round while putting on a ton of pressure.
Yeah, it's pretty much 5 RTs for more than half of the game.
Yeah, briefly dipping down to 3, but never having less than that, and really putting a ton of pressure on these aliens. They're going to get a gate. It's probably going to be in this forward position in overhang. It's very aggressive and probably means that they're going to be sitting in the hive, pushing the hive, going for a kill on this hive relatively early in this game. But this is a hive room that really lends itself to an aggressive Marine team. For whatever reason, it's very difficult to root out the Marine players if they take a position on that back wall. And that forward RT, also very easy to desist, putting on intensive economic pressure, even if you don't commit to the hive kill. It looks like that's what they're going to do, pushing back after desisting and putting a little bit of damage out. They see the alien team responding, and they just walk away.
Poppy, nice save on the shotgun. I mean, the Marines could easily afford a new round of weapons and another one after that, but yeah, I mean, 20 PRES are 20 PRES.
Yeah, and I like being a little bit more cautious, maybe making sure that you don't lose that gated enclave. It was pretty close, and that damage on that RT, you know, it's not going anywhere. Even with the Gorge trying to heal it, they weren't able to, you know, they need more time in order to heal that structure. Yeah. Oh, wow, Joshy playing smart and getting on top of these Marines, but...
Datsu's fate is... one good meat shot away from dying here, but Bose decided not to push him. Just decided to go back and to regroup with his teammate.
Yeah, if you look at the hive room just briefly, the floor is just blanketed with med packs. I think Crowbar getting a little bit excited about the idea of pushing this hive, but for the first time, aliens are capping staging. Well, it's not the first time, but they're able to cap staging without any pressure on that node. And if they get this extractor back in extraction, they're going to be on 4 RTs for the first time. But yeah, the hive pressure ends, and they go back to taking control of the economic game. They the only substantial damage they did in that push was taking the base RT.
And now the alien team in for the crush. Mephilis and Lida sort of out of place here. They can't even respond in time, despite running. And oh, Yuffie with 2 HP gets Mephilis down. I mean, instantly dies after that, but the damage has already been done, so you can spare a Skulk for that. And now the Marines have to walk from their gate in Enclave, which is obviously quite a hike.
Yeah, the gate is re-established in overhang. You saw Datsu running in while they were building that gate, but there are 4 Marines in that room, and that was quite a risky play to just try to take a couple swipes at their back. He didn't get punished for it, but you can tell that they're desperate to stop this forward pressure. Although I think this pressure has really sacrificed a little bit of map control from the Marine team, sticking down on 4 RTs for most of this time. They're controlling the focus of the alien squad, but unless they kill some life forms quickly, this has actually been the most breathing room the aliens have had the entire round. Going up to 4 RTs, finally.
Yeah, Mephiles trying to recapture a relay. Had a small skirmish with Risk, but Risk obviously knew better than to engage in a combat with Mephiles, who's a very good player. And oh, the crush again on overhang, and Mephiles coming back from his capture mission, which he did not accomplish. The relay RT is still not occupied, but yeah, again, staging being cleared out by Lyda and Bose. And Datsu and Greenrex had him in a sandwich there, but decided it's not worth it since the damage to staging had already been done, and not risk your life form in this situation.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Just where on the map they were, because those hallways, there's no way to... Oh my god, this crush, this fight, so impactful. Only the Gorge going down, P-Stash losing his Gorge. Datsu, though, running out of the room and running into 2 Marines, barely makes it out.
Yeah, Greenrex doing the busy work, just trying to get down Transit. But I guess he's alerted to the Marines pushing overhang again. And oh, Greenrex. Nice meat shot from Mephiles here.
They are able to continue to upgrade slowly, even though they've been spending a ton of res on meting these pushes, on building these gates. They do get Armor 2 finally finished. You can see, though, that the aliens are really letting the Marines walk into the hive a little bit while they go back after Marine assets all across the map. 3 lurks on the field now, and 1 fade. I guess the 3rd lurk did come up.
Oh yeah, this
but it's been a
while ago. But
yeah.
So now there's aliens spread out over the map. Just got all the resource towers reasonably down, but didn't actually manage to kill a single one of them. And now it's a breathing process. Both teams expand over the map, and then they concentrate in one point again and spread out and repeat.
Yeah, so if you briefly pull up the menu, the queue menu, I can report on it. You don't necessarily have to do it on screen. Wow, Lida fighting Greenrex alone in North Basin. So many good med packs, but Lida missing a ton of meat shots. Put half the damage of that lurk life bar in immediately and is unable to make the second half of that life bar disappear. Greenrex sticking the fight when others might have ran away does end up taking that solo engagement in North Basin. Scary for that lurk player, but it ended up paying off in this occasion.
Yeah, and he got out with 5 HP, so yeah, that was really, really close. But the thing is, they are on weapons 3 already, so there's no scenario where he would have lost that, except for maybe armor 3. But it's always this calculation, like, would that lurk have died with 1 more weapons upgrades? Oh, Risk. Okay, Domestos whiffed a shot, so Risk didn't even need his Umbra. But that is a situation that could have gone very differently.
Now, there are 2 aliens pretty far away from a place where they can reinforce this hive. I think after a failed hive attempt, and there was a very early attempt on that hive that looked like it could have yielded some good results, but they've been scared to walk back in there. And I don't think they ever really took the back of the room. They just played around at that doorway, killed the RT, and then backed off.
Yeah, and I mean the one shell that had died was from a ninja Lida going into the hive sneakily and not from a big bush. So yes, I can see their reluctance to try again.
Ooh, advanced swipe being completed. Dangerous territory for the Marine team. Now only 3 swipes away from death unless good meds come down from the alien commander. The third armor upgrade is very important at this moment to be rushed by the Marine team.
This time the crush didn't really work out. They just all went in, killed one Marine and got everyone else pretty low. But obviously it only counts if they actually die.
Yeah, though, it's really good to see the Marine team being able to push the aliens out of the room. Interesting to see Crowbar going for jetpacks. Jetpacks are great additions to any Marine team, but not a ton of res. Oh, actually, I take that back. 2 of the Marines stockpiling. 3 of the Marines just absolutely stockpiling their wealth.
Yeah.
This is maybe intentional, so they can buy multiple rounds of jetpacks and guns. But regardless of the intentionality of saving so much resources for this late game, there certainly are a lot of them. The Crush, though, this time going to be very hard to push back. Bo's coming out, but immediately just drops his equipment on the ground. And they're going to have to reinforce.
I would love to see HMGs here. But yeah, I guess they are going more for the shotgun jetpack combo. But
shotgun jetpacks, very, very scary. And I think Crowbar being a little bit more old school. I swear, in older seasons of the game, jetpacks were considered more essential to late game tech. P-Stash, the only life form going down. It's been a very hard time killing any of these significant life forms for this Marine team. They just haven't been able to put enough damage out to actually clinch these kills.
And Demolition's research finally started.
So, of course, they do have the tech for HMGs. You just haven't seen the Marines individually choosing to go for those weaponry.
Yeah.
1 jetpack now on the field. 2, actually, Poppy and Bo's with the jetpack shotgun combination that is so deadly for any alien player to play against. Surely the jets have been called as they're puffing around in overhang, making a little bit of noise to the fact that they have these equipment. 2 RTs going down, but that means 2 aliens off the front of this field. This might be the perfect time. And Lida, the second game in a row with Marines choosing to go for the grenade launcher. This is a full use of the Marine arsenal, and this time the room is so wide open for grenades to be lobbed all the way from the doorway. Oh, but yikes! It's a disaster, only saving 1 Marine from that alien crush. They're gonna have to come back out of this gate and try to save the equipment. No, but it's too much of a grinder. They're holding back in base to buy more guns, more equipment, and hopefully walk back there. But they just jumped in on those Marines in between shotgun shots, in between reload on that grenade launcher. Just nobody seemed to have their gun pointed at aliens. They all had it pointed at the hive and ended in a terrible wipe for this Marine team.
Yeah, that was just a very generous PRS donation to the alien team. That's all that push was. And the hive is being healed by only the crack, but even the crack will get it up eventually back to 100.
Unfortunately for this Marine team, they're waiting on... They finally have enough res to drop that gate. It took them a long time, but the aliens didn't take advantage of this opening where they hadn't quite re-established the gate connections. Now, though, they're poking at the back res. Only 3 RTs for this Marine team. only RTs to survive are the RTs connected to gates. P-Stash getting Crowbar out of the chair. This is a moment where the alien team is probably calling to pressure these individual Marines separated from the rest of the team. Datsu gets a jetpack on Domestis. Domestis going down rather quickly. Maffali is almost for sure going to get pressured by these aliens. No comm in the chair to med him. Now there is.
And by the way, this marks the first time, I think 2 minutes ago, the first time that aliens actually have more resource hours than Marines in this match. Oh, Green Rex getting super low, 15 HP.
Ouch, so many victories for this alien team. The real story of the round, the real deciding factor that's making this alien team so unassailable is the fact that these Marines aren't actually clearing life forms. That's so crazy for how far ahead they were early game, but hardly a single life form has fallen besides P-Stash's Gorge.
Oh no, we had 2 early lurk kills. Don't forget that. That's how the Marines got so far ahead.
That's right, that is correct. But since that first round of lurks, I don't think
Nothing
single
has
life
died.
form has died.
Yeah, and there's the GG. Good game. Relay Hive dropped just now, but obviously not gonna happen. Yeah, that was really well done from the alien team. They, after just falling really behind in the very beginning, they clawed their way back and always got out in time. So, by the way, I fixed my post-game stats, so I can actually show them on stream right now. And yeah, we can see the only thing the Marines really managed to kill was 1 shell and, yeah, 2 lurks.
If you go to the kill graph and you look at about 10, 11 minutes, 12 minutes into the round, 12 minutes into the round to all the way to the end of the game, somewhere around 25, 24 minutes, maybe only 10 kills. It's hard to exactly read what's going on. 15 kills the last 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And that's just, none of those kills were life forms. So yeah, this Marine team really having a hard time pushing into the hive, having a hard time killing life forms. I think just it's hard. It's so hard to tell, what goes wrong. But on those crushes, it feels like no damage was coming out from the Marine team onto aliens. They were just able to mash in, totally dissolve the Marine team, and fly out without any serious losses. And it happened over and over and over again. I think that was partially because we saw a relatively speaking early upgrade towards having advanced swipe. There was 2 fades at that point. Advanced swipe was upgraded. And instead of getting armor 3, of course, I'm not sure Crowbar was able to tell whether advanced swipe was up or not. But instead of getting armor 3, he went for a gamble and went for jetpacks. Now, jets.
I think the very experienced players on the team, they definitely told him that advanced swipe was up. I mean, Gather players have a feeling for that. They can tell when advanced swipe is up, so he had to know.
Yes, you're probably right. It probably was called out. The question is, the start of jetpacks was very close to the finishing of advanced swipe. So, it's hard it would have been difficult emotionally to say this investment in getting an AA and Pro Lab and how fun jetpacks are to stop the momentum in that direction and say, hey, actually what we really need is another level of armor. Just so much less sexy. And I really love when I see jetpacks And the addition of jetpacks and grenade launchers, like, oh boy, that sounds like a fun hive push. And it really looked like they had a good position at the doorway there. That was the moment where that game could have gone either way. But I swear there was a fade or a lurk that got in behind them, and they just were unloaded at the time. They just had expended their clip, and they got absolutely wiped.
Yeah, I must admit, I kind of would have loved to see them try the meme strat. Just they had so many P-res available. Just go Raygun Exo.
they had a fair amount of people who could have gone next. Wow, sniping a Skulk from the back of the room. P-Stash, I didn't even see him pulling out his pistol. Neither did the other Skulk. Maybe there's a little bit of difference in the lag and how the registration works, but it's crazy for him to be able to snipe get a pistol kill so early. Bows jumping down. They do wipe one Marine on the North Bathan side, but Marines are through on both sides unless Bose is an absolute god. Unable to make that kill happen, though. Marines own the middle of the map, and pressure is going to be immediately applied to the alien base. Eggs already having to be bought because they're trying to hold both the base and the tunnel. Gorge Lida out versus Risk. There's no... Oh, there are meds coming through. The commander is in the field. I wasn't entirely sure. I guess Datsu just jumped in for a second to med that in a single fight.
Yeah, but it took really long for the second Marine to die after the first initial kill. So lots of aliens have died and only a few Marines have died so far. So yes, for now it's not looking too well. I mean, obviously that's not really a big disadvantage, but these 5 T-rests that early in the game, they do hurt.
Yeah, Bose is so important right now. So important to how the fight evolves, but none of these Marines are becoming too impatient. Oh, but what a good wipe for these aliens, sending 3 Marines back to the spawn queue. P-Stash trying to put on pressure, but the real danger is Risk. Single-handedly putting out a ton of damage on an unbuilt Harvester with nothing around to build it. This Harvester is probably doomed. Unless this Gorge knows the P-Stash boost, not gonna come through in this occasion. The RT does get killed.
Yeah, but I mean, the tunnel in extraction, that is pretty much what I was talking about last round. So maybe it's just Kroba and me being old school. So that tunnel location is what I had in mind when I said I would like to see that put a little bit more aggressively.
Yeah, that platform tunnel is actually, I think, better than the extraction tunnel. You can get on top of the tunnel, and actually it seems like sometimes when you have a tunnel position that can be put on the low ground, that would be a good thing, but get a Marine on top of you pointing down at that extraction tunnel, it's going to be really hard to come out of it.
Yeah, by the way, just realized it's Reach. Extraction is the main hive, so...
Oh, yes, really... Reach is in the back there. That's a good point. Sometimes I make that mistake as well. But platform is where the tunnel is. In the last game, it was in Reach.
Yeah, staging, again, as usual, being under Marine pressure. And, those two are just massacring these aliens here. Kroba has to jump out, try to save Lida, but Kroba also fails, and now Lida versus Risk. And yeah, that spells death for this Gorge.
Yeah, there's a lot of rooms in this. There's a ton of great ambushed positions in this map. So many good spots in every room to jump out from, with these endless pits, with all these incredible vents. There's so many ways to traverse this map. But the map is wide open with lots of straight hallways and rooms that are easily defensible if you put your back against a wall. It makes it really difficult if the Marines are able to get into a position to get them out of it. And you just saw Skulk after Skulk after Skulk dying in staging. And that's just because the Marines were able to get into the room before the aliens were.
So, first 2 lurks are popping. Let's see if Domestos will also lurk, or if we're gonna see only 2 lurks this time. Oh, Poppy is already lurk, I'm sorry. I meant Bose, but I think Bose is more of a Fate player, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, but we'll see if Bose ends up going for that lurk. I think it would be pretty late if he was deciding to do it.
Yeah.
He'd already be going. But yeah, if you look at this game as a tale of resource collection, which always in some way an RTS game has to rely on the fundamentals of being, more advanced, more money than the other team. Game is not too dissimilar from the start of the previous round. 3 RTs for the...
Oh, Methodist, unfortunately I missed that one.
The Marines certainly didn't, clinching that kill and getting the tunnel to extraction up to platform with a drifter trying to build something on the way back. He's just has it on patrol, but that was Crowbar who came through the tunnel, so nobody in the hive to defend that or move that drifter. Now the 3rd RT for this alien team in a ton of trouble. Staging, however, is the pressure point now because that reinforcement has to come through there. And if a Marine gets in there or to green path to cut the sys chain, it's going to cut the entire res lane for the alien team. Yeah,
Actually, P-Stash, killing the sys chain right in the hive.
Yeah, just as they start systing out towards overhang, the entire overhang sys chain unbuilt dies because P-Stash cuts a single cyst.
But I like how they placed... Oh, Poppy has died while I was in the base looking at P-Stash. I was just happy about the tunnel entrance being put right next to the resource tower. I mean, obviously that makes the tunnel a bit harder to use because it's not where the eggs are. But it also makes the harvester in main base immune to being desisted. But right now, aliens are in real danger to go down to 1 RT.
Yeah, and they're trying... I think they're just thinking about, sacrificing all of their res lane, allowing Marines into their hive. This is some crazy sort of base rush, but unfortunately Datsu in the correct position to really stop the entire forward momentum. All the lurks dead. Fade still a couple of resource ticks away from... Oh, GG comes out from Crowbar. That's gonna be game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really they could have done anymore. They were still too far away from Fades, and on 1 RT, that's gonna take ages. So, yes. I think this game was lost.
2 Marines being in the hive on this map, I mean, like, all the way up in the back of extraction. I briefly mentioned it on the failed hive push previously, but that back of that room is just so... There's so many rooms that feel like this on Nexus. Like, once you're in them, stuck in the back of the room, what do you do to defend against it? You just have to dummy rocket skulk over and over and over again just to, like, kill a single rifle Marine. That's what we saw in staging. Had they dropped overhang, that room also a little bit vulnerable to that kind of situation. That map especially, and all maps sort of have this quality, but that map especially, all about being in the right position for ambushes. Because if you don't have the ambush, you might as well give up the res node.
So, now with the first map done, we are going to Tanith. And this map being the next one being added to this game officially. So is very, very new, and I think aside from the other week 5 matches we have seen, it's barely ever played in comp. I don't really recall any gathers on Tanith. And so,
yeah, but I think the competitive community, I think we're a little bit hesitant to start playing Tanith because it feel like double feels so strange. There's no direct natural for the Marines. It feels really weird the way the map is built. But I think as the games are played on this, as I sort of think about it more and more, the map does have an internal logic that if you sort of split the map, drawing a line from Fusion Core or the right of Fusion Core all the way down to exterior path through the middle, so that there's 5 RTs on one side and 5 RTs on the other. This is sort of the way that this map ends up kind of developing. Usually Marines taking reactor and aliens trying to force a tunnel into relay. It's normally how this goes, and then it just ends up organically splitting the whole map. So let's see if the Marines have a way to defend or to stop this from happening. They might.
Yeah, I just read the chat right now, so it looks like Puppy had to go. And I think we might see, yeah, Sectionaire, aka Pikachu, will replace Puppy right now.
Yeah, and sectioned is how do you say Pikachu?
Pikachu.
Pikachu. Yeah. I'm always calling him Pykaz.
Yeah, no, that's my limited knowledge of Polish and also Google Translate. They both agree it's closer to Pikachu, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's
I don't think
the
he minds either way. Never has he deigned to correct me. But I'm sure you're right, and I'm sure Google is right. It usually is. But let's zoom out a little bit and take a look at what we got going here. We're gonna have a second as they find this merc and pull them into the round. But yeah, I might run to the bathroom, and since you're commanding the stream, hopefully we won't miss any action. But be right back.
so yeah, this is pretty much one of the ways you can split the map, east-west. Or the other way around, obviously, would be somewhere more akin to this. And yeah, we will see if the teams go for an east-west or north-south divide. But from all the games I saw on Tanith so far, this is the two ways that it usually goes. And yeah, if they decide to drop the tunnel somewhere in chemical, this entire area, this entire area is off limits. This is an area where you cannot build any structures. So yeah, you usually see the tunnel somewhere up here, feeding the resource tower with infestation. And also the Marines used to be able to climb up a ladder here, but nowadays they have to go all the way around. So that tunnel is actually quite safe and very hard to deal with. Unless, of course, you got grenades and just stand down here and spam your grenades all the way up there. But that is very expensive because you need many Marines with grenades and obviously need the grenade tech, which is not a given. Still waiting for Pikachu to join the server. But we don't see people talking that much, or at least from what we can tell. Usually on Tanith you see people strategizing where to put the tunnel and put the clocks and just looking at everything, but I actually saw before this match started, there was a lot going on Tanith on the training box, so probably these teams got their info ahead of the round and are now just already set up.
I'm assuming we're not fully into the round yet.
No, it's still waiting for player number 6, presumably Pikesh, or Pikachu, or Sectionaire. Never ask him what name he preferred, if it's Pikachu or Sectionaire, but I guess since he uses Sectionaire mostly in pubs and also for his stream, Sectionaire is probably the preferred nickname.
Yeah, you know, sometimes you drag around an old screen name for login purposes that used to use. But anyways, it doesn't particularly matter because he's arrived, the man himself, Pikachu, Sectionaire. He's about to join the team, and we're gonna get this Elo Gain versus Salty Skulks game going. Elo Gain yet to take a map, but that first one was rather close. I think Crowbar is going to have some familiarity with this map, an old NS1 map that it is plays very differently because, of course, the game is very different. But I think I'm excited to see how he decides to play it. Lots of great players on his team. You can see badges from previous seasons, except there wasn't really season play. It was our brief stint at individual tournaments. But these are tournament stars. These previous players on Elo Gain. Lots of incredible players. And about to be joined by one more.
And risk using the only Polish word he knows probably, but it's a very useful one. From what I can tell, you can express almost half of things that can be expressed in the Polish language with just one single word.
I had some Polish friends who I was talking to, and they had recently moved from Poland full time to America, and they were lamenting the fact that the Polish language had all these incredible ways to describe different things, and so I'm a little surprised to hear you say that. According to her, Polish is just such a descriptive language, and English, which I always sort of imagine has all these different words that basically mean the same thing. So many synonyms and similar ideas expressed in our language, but apparently it does not have the fidelity of Polish, at least according to one person that I talked to.
You know about the versatility of the F word, right?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. The K word in Polish is basically that, and then some.
Funny to know. Funny to know.
And I'm not being just picking on Polish here. That's my suspicion has been confirmed by many Polish Germans. So yeah, that's what I learned from them, and also Polish, by the way. But yeah, enough linguistics with Kopunga. Still know what the holdup is. The Merc has been okayed, and the system has acknowledged that much. So, probably something behind the scenes. Maybe get him onto the right Discord server. They have 7 minutes before forfeiting the round.
Yeah, I imagine these teams will have some patience, and I don't know if there's some official way for people to discard the. I mean, I imagine Section will be able to get on before that time limit runs out, but I wouldn't be surprised even if that did, if these players were a little bit less stringent about the rules, at least.
Yeah, I mean they can
Uh,
unready anytime, so I
oh yeah,
guess.
that's the way to do it, I suppose. Yeah, and boy, I love this map, how it looks. I don't often take the player perspective on when I'm viewing this map because I've been in, spectator or the comm chair every time I've played on here. So it's pretty cool though. It's like a really well designed, well implemented from a map editor's point of view map.
Yeah,
I'm really hope.
I'm a bit sad they changed east tunnels. So you see those big pipes in east tunnels, right?
Let me get there. I'm so unused to this map that I don't actually know where it is. Oh, there. Yep.
South of Satcom.
Yep.
So the pipes you run across when going through these tunnels, at some point in the development of this map, you were able to place mines inside these pipes because they were just a flat surface. And the mine would be completely inside of this pipe and not visible in alien vision. So that was the perfect trap. But unfortunately, they didn't like me messing around with these mines in playtesting and decided to change that. So I'm a bit disappointed, but I mean, I guess it's just fair. This would cause so much salt if players just died to mines they could impossibly see.
It's one of those marine equipments that I think is really hard to balance. I like mines, but if you buff them too much, they're way too good, and they're kind of like it's kind of terrible to play against them. But you nerf them too much, and they're hardly ever seen. And like basically, the only commander that consistently upgrades mines is Cats, and um, he's very insistent on that they're good for his team, but hardly anybody ends up using them. Anyways, a little buff to a mine here or there probably couldn't hurt.
I'm not sure where the ready room is, otherwise I could show you what Pikachu is doing. But since this map is so dark with the skybox, it's very hard to find the ready room. Oh, I think I just found it though.
Somewhere floating in space.
Yeah. And I don't know if the mod version still has 1 or 2 ready rooms, because there was a ready room, and yeah, that was abandoned for the room that is now the ready room, which used to be on the map in earlier iterations of the map. But yeah, Pikachu is just standing around in ready room and
Yeah,
not moving.
a little unfortunate this game isn't already on its way. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Pikachu, but I'm sure they're figuring it out. It'd be great to have a little bit more communication on what's going on, but nobody's throwing their hands up in the air right now, at least not yet.
Yeah, he's just standing there, contemplating life. But as the Reaper Leviathan shoulder badge, obviously a nice tie-in with the Subnautica franchise, also done by UWE. It's one of the 2 promotional shoulder badges, and I think it was no really any requirements, right? I think you only, if you just logged in at some point, you just got them for free. Obviously timed offer, but I mean, in a pub, I would now just start a vote to randomize the ready room to get him on the team. But I guess you should do that in comp. Okay, Lida said he had mic issues, so that's what.
Have we been able to determine what the issue is?
Yeah, seemingly he had mic issues.
Oh, okay.
But according to Lida, it's past tense, so should have been resolved by now. They do have 1 minute left. Oh, and Crowbar readies up. And Pikachu
Wait,
leaves
what?
the server. I'm not entirely sure what's happening right now, to be honest. I'm just confused. We're starting the round 5 versus 6. That's the first one in Season 18. Marine starting with a player down. Oh, Crowbar pauses the
He
match.
starts around and then pauses. I think he, yeah, I don't know if he's worried about disqualification, but I think the other team would have said it was okay. I suppose this is technically within the rules, but I guess he really didn't want to be disqualified.
Yeah, I mean, I guess as long as the enemy team allows it, if there's no accuser, there's no judge, right?
Yeah,
But
I suppose so.
I mean, in the end, the refs would have to settle that.
Yeah, I mean, we used to have revs present in in the matches, and I suppose I could just take the caster position slightly more seriously and update myself on all the ref rules and all, just onboard myself as an official ref as well. But yeah, this is sort of on the edge of what I think is allowed. They think it's definitely within the rules, but I think, it's a strict interpretation of the rules that would have caused them to get knocked out of the round. And I think maybe a strict interpretation that says, hey, we can use our pauses. But eventually,
I think what also plays a small role here is that Saltier Skulks are currently in the lead 2-0, so they can afford to be a bit more generous. If
yeah,
if Elogane was ahead, I think their patience would be more limited.
I tend to think the guys on Salty would have said, "Hey, do you want us to unready?" Or like, and we're not going to really take a disqualification win. At least I think so. Salty, yeah, generally good-natured folks. Not too many big personalities on their team. Nobody likes to wait. Waiting is it sucks, and you were already committing a lot of time in the middle of the day to Uh, yeah, I mean, like, yeah, it's yeah, it's just too bad. You know, it takes a lot of effort, you know, especially with a season of play. You wanted to make the experience for the players, the community watching, everybody involved as smooth as possible. Because we're here to have fun. Yeah, there's bragging rights. Yeah, there's some kind of individual bravado or something being accomplished by playing the game well. But you know, I think the majority of players who play this just want to play the game at a high level. And it's frustrating for players and for everybody else involved when this kind of issue comes up. Um, I think, you know, I think it's good that they care so much about fielding a team right now that they don't want to just take the dequal, but it's just a bit strenuous. I mean, having a deeper roster, having more people in your region who play the game, make it a little easier for this kind of issue not to pop up. But yeah, it's a Monday and people have their own lives. And it's not like we're getting paid to play this game at the moment. So this kind of stuff is it sucks to be at the,
Oh,
you
Pikachu's
know,
back. Let's
okay, it
see
looks like
if he manages to join the team this time.
I'm sure there's no funny business happening here on either side, really. It's just one of the difficulties of organizing any kind of team
Oh,
event.
Pikachu on a team, 6 Marine players. Here we go, round 1 on tennis. Only took
Oh
us
boy,
like half an hour.
yeah, yeah. It's not the best result for this, you know, for the viewing experience. But here we go. 10th, always exciting to watch. So far, fairly standard. Meth able to get pretty far up into chemical without getting engaged by a Skulk here. But yeah, I mean, I think we see both nice clear by Yuffie and a good clear by Greenrex as well, as Pikachu sort of lagging all over the place, having some trouble. At least he's in the round though, guys, so let's hope he doesn't need to pause to try to sort his router. I don't think people would really have the patience for that one. Risk, though, in a good position for that ambush.
Yeah, I think he just typed in chat that it's usual for him to just lag out in the first few moments after joining a map for the first time. And yeah, to be honest, Tanith is one of the maps where that definitely would happen. Because it's quite a big map. I mean, not from the area to play, it's not small there either. But I mean, just the simple file size is so huge that I think I told this last time we were here. If you look at the textures on some assets, they are just so low quality because the map was too big for the workshop, and that just tells you how much the game has to load when on this map.
Yeah, and the map definitely looks more modern than a lot of the NS2 maps. I mean, I think the NS2 is actually a pretty beautiful game for how old it is. But this map just feels more modern in its design, in its implementation of props and decals. It just looks really nice. Ooh, Bo's in a really annoying position. You cut the sys chain here, it really puts a ton of economic pressure on. You can cut it basically denies SATCOM the sys chain and puts pressure on both of these RTs, this tunnel not actually providing any systs to either of these resource towers. I actually don't like the position of Salty's tunnel. I mean, I think it's definitely safe. Like,
Yeah.
it's not going to be pushed. It's going to be very difficult to push, but it's so far back that it allows Marines to capture relay. That's going to be able to put them up onto 6 RTs versus the aliens 4.
Yeah, I mean, it's also not only that it's so far back it doesn't even supply a single resource tower with infestation.
Yeah. It's definitely a double bonus of these RT of these
Tunnels.
tunnels, yeah. Ooh. Pistache taking a ton of pressure. Joshy, what the heck are you doing, man? Wow, Pistache able to survive for so long. Joshy finally coming around and making a kill there. I'm not sure what he was waiting for. I think that he's just trying to pick that incoming Marine, but they lose the gorge for that.
Mephil is getting the tunnel down to 50%. I mean, yeah, it wasn't pushed from Chemical, it was pushed from Fusion Core.
Yeah,
Lurks
I
are
think
up. Yuffie as a lurk, Risk as a lurk.
I think there's a way to boost into that vent into acidic processing. I think a Marine can boost into there. But yeah, just walking through the back of the hive position through Fusion Core, it seems like it's so weird the ways that you move on this map. But yeah, it's very possible to do that and put on a ton of pressure.
Yeah, so Hive dropped in Satcom. And yeah, Pikachu currently trying to get up a relay, but yeah, Pistache can try to get down the unbuilt resource tower before Lida comes, but no luck. I guess Lida can take Pistache, yeah, easily. And meanwhile, the aliens are killing all the resource towers in reactor room. Joshy with the ambush on Pikachu and getting
really
out
good
barely.
positioning.
Oh, and Domestos finishes him off. And I guess that means we will see Datsu and yeah, Datsu as a Fade, and not sure if Joshi will play a Lurk or a Fade as commander.
Yeah, if he's out of the hive for long enough, he can get the necessary, res to become a higher life form. He could easily go Calm Gorge and power up the Satcom hive, electing not to do that and staying as Skulk for now. But this Drifter is going to be the second one to fall, and this hive is yet to be built. It's at 70%. 60% grown, 70% HP. It's still got quite some time before it's fully built.
Yeah, without any assistance, there is still more than 2 minutes left on that hive. Of course, the build time for a hive being 6 minutes, without any assistance, but since it's grown almost 2/3, yeah, it's not 2/3, it's 2 minutes left, but the Drifter comes and takes off 25% of that.
Yeah, good to know those calculations. I'm so glad that you have that kind of deeper structural knowledge of how the game works. That's really interesting to hear the just basics. You know, sometimes I'm sure that some of our commanders do know those individual timings, but there you have it. Players, 25% from the Drifter, and
Oh, Greenrex really low. Greenrex going down in waste standing to Lida. That's one Lurk down. Datsu already fading.
Really frightening in that engagement. Doesn't miss a single pistol shell. And Greenrex is one of those players that's very, very good at his life form. It's pretty impressive to see that he was able to be sniped out of the air as he was getting out of that room.
Yeah, not taking the risk with Lida, who came to reinforce the VAC. Both shotgun now in relay on the ground, and I actually don't see Pikachu picking that up. Yeah, the lurks say, nope, that's my shotgun now. Not sure why Lida was sneaking up there, but Bose barely, just too late for his shotgun. I mean, this is a very res-rich map, so it's not the end of the world, but still, as I always say, 20p res is 20p res.
Yeah, I think there were some minor edits though, because when this map was first being playtested, I believe it was a 11 RT map. A 10 RT map is
Yes.
fairly standard. I believe that's how many are on a map like Zombie. Pretty sure.
Yeah, you see quite a few maps with 10 resource towers.
Oh. But yeah, I mean, I think this is the part of the game, or this is how most of these games have been ending up. The map being split right down the center, with each team holding 5 resource nodes. Now the aliens only holding 4, but I think this is fairly standard. It ends up being, this map seems so crazy with the quote unquote 4 lanes that are on it, and there are sort of 4 lanes that just divide up or add up to being 2 lanes.
Oh, Risk again really low with his lurk.
Oh man, a single Skulk though, getting all the way into the whack, it's so much time to reinforce and cover that back res. And if there's a good way to get into that tunnel and Green Rex gets there, he could just be ping-ponging Nephiles for so long. Does try to just deplete his clip. Meph, though, unfazed. Some people really struggle with being accurate on their pistol. Not Meph, it seems. Meph leaves deleting Green Rex.
Yeah, Blueprint dropped in East Tunnels, but the aliens decide not to pop it. It's basically 10 T-Res just sitting around doing nothing much. And the first arc has been produced in Reactor Room. And meanwhile, P-Stash killing waste handling while Mephilis is welding up the whack. So, yeah, 2 Skulls can ping-pong a Marine even harder than Green Rex alone. And oh, Bo is just missing quite a few shots here, but Green Rex dying eventually. And now Mephilis welding up Wack, and meanwhile Risk is in waste handling, and Risk is in Wack, killing the resource tower, and Meph, he's doing the legwork.
Yeah, getting stuck on this off lane, trying to hold the back res. He's been successful so far at keeping those res nodes alive. But boy, what a boring existence. Oh my god!
Risk going down to Mephilis pistol.
Oh my god, these Marines on the solo lane have been so devastating, killing 2 lurks on the off lane in single one-on-one combats and keeping the res alive for now. Both res nodes very close to going down though, just about the same time as they want to get this arc push rolling. 4 arcs are out. They probably aren't going to be able to spare more than 1 Marine to try to hold the off lane. It's going to be a ton of back and forth for that poor Marine stuck on the back res. But this is 4-man pressure with arcs. Let's see if they're able to hold the gates, hold their back res, and push these arcs forward all at the same time.
We don't have a shade yet, so there's not going to be any ink. And this shift is awfully close to the hive. So this shift will actually die in the first or second salvo of these acoustic resonance cannons, and unless they move it back now.
Yeah, they still got a few moments before this is established, but yep, no bile bomb, no what you call it, veil shade, right?
Bile bomb being done in 10 seconds, but oh, it's actually. Okay, the salvos are staggered, so yeah, but as I said, this shift is down before the gorge is up.
Yeah, really painful for this alien squad. Only finally now... Oh my god, there's just no chance! The hive gets destroyed.
By the way, I want to just say how smart that was from Crowbar. He did not just... select all the arcs and deployed them. He deployed them one by one, so they are always staggered. So if the alien commander would have had a shade with ink, you would only block like 1 or 2 of the arcs, while the other 2 are firing.
That's such a good point and such a smart thing to do. It's the way that the arc targeting works. While the mist is, or while
Ink
the
is up.
shade ink is up. That's right, ink. While the ink is up, there's no targeting that can be done, but they have to whir
Oh,
up. They
risk
have,
losing his lurk to Lidda. And
it was
Lidda actually making it out alive of this engagement because Datsu had to leave not to lose his fate to his shotgun as well. So that was really strong here. Killing a hive, getting rid of the lurk. And yeah, so aliens are in a real pickle right now. Datsu getting awfully low again. There's really a bunch of shotguns on the field. It's only bows left with a rifle. See,
Yeah,
now he deployed all the arcs at once because he knows for a fact that there's not a shade on the RT, so just get it down ASAP. No need to stagger the shots for the arcs.
Yeah, and it seems like such a small thing to be done in terms of impacting the game, but it's just like optimization of your basic tasks. You have lots of space to do little micro things like that as a commander, and it really didn't take that much brain power or finesse to just stagger the arcs like he did. It really ends up being useful. There's a real important reason why you might do that. And the hive just goes down so quickly. Doesn't really stop the arcs from deploying. You know, you don't slow the progress of the arcs shooting really much at all. And the alien team is just pushed into the corner on this map. Marines total dominance right now.
Oh,
Oh my
Datsu,
God.
30 HP. And Yuffie, still on his first lurk, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 40 res. That's still his first lurk.
Datsu stuck in no man's land on the other side of the map, trying to get heals, but there's no crags up, so he's just gonna be running around trying to find a safe way to get back to his base. His unfamiliarity with the map really starting to show. Is there even a shade in this hive? They knew it's coming. This is the Veil Hive, guys. Come on, boys. Where's that shade? It's time. You've still got 43 P-res. They've trying to get it up. Trying to get PvE up. Joshy's spending a lot of time on the field in this game. Maybe not paying enough attention to the incoming arc push. I think it was
Yeah, Shade
relatively...
is almost up now, finally. And this time it's not even close to the hive, so it will not die to the splash, unlike the tunnel entrance. But since the tunnel entrance doesn't have an exit, we don't really care that much. And yeah, so right now, losing a tunnel, I mean, it's never beneficial, but that's the least of their worries. And Datsu again, 30 HP, and Yuffie losing his first lurk.
But the wipe goes all the way back to the gate. The Fade isn't able to stay in there. Datsu taking a risk and trying to keep them from coming through. The Gorge has plenty of time, however, to actually buy all these arcs. And this arc push is going to be stopped. Not only is the arc push stopped, but the arcs are dead. That means it's going to take 45 res to keep this forward momentum going.
And Pikachu saving one arc. Pikachu the only one being equipped with a welder at this point. I mean, now they all bought one. But the initial pushback, they all just jumped through, didn't bother to buy a welder. And yeah, so there's only one arc being saved. Oh, Datsu!
Oh my god! Datsu gonna get stuck in the back here.
Yeah.
Domestic finally does kill him.
That's
gonna be a GG.
Yes, all the aliens are dead except for Green Rex and Yuffie. And
I think if Joshy continues to play calm, has the opportunity to play calm a little bit more, he's gonna never put structures next to the hive ever again, and that's GG. So many structures dying to the splash damage of these arcs. All the veils were around the back of the hive. Again, these are like small things that wouldn't necessarily have changed the course of the game in total, but just like little correct actions, little incorrect actions by the commanders on both sides, leading to a victory for Elo Gain. Now it's just, instead of 2-0, it's 1-2.
yeah, and I mean, you can tell the just from the RT graph Marines did lose 7 RTs, but they were consistently around 5 RTs, and aliens managed to hold 4 for quite a while, but come like 14 minutes, 13 minutes, they were on a very rapid decline, and we're down to 1 RT just for the last about 5 minutes of the round.
Yeah, I don't know if the arc push was just unscouted, but they were just so unprepared for that first arc push. Bile Bomb barely finishing by the time the arc started to shoot, but the Gorge couldn't get out on top of those arcs. He was trying to drop structures in the hive and move things around, and just wasn't quite there when the arcs started firing. Crowbar, I don't know if it's some kind of intimidation factor as well, but the fact that they are so perfectly staggered, those arcs, just made it so that hive just seemed to evaporate.
Yeah, definitely. It's just the hive is more or less under constant barrage, and not just. You usually see that if all the arcs are deployed at once, you see one huge hit and then a small breather. But with that, the hive just loses HP constantly, and as soon as we see the damage done to the health bar, the next shot is being landed. So it's it's nicely done from Cobra here. Excellent use of the arcs.
Yeah, I'm very impressed. I think Crowbar has been playing really well today. On the Marine side, he seems slightly more comfortable. That first map he almost took with the Marine side. I think there was just a few mistakes, not getting armor 3 against advanced swipe, putting his team in a really dangerous position, getting wiped off the map in a couple of engagements. But had those shotguns been pointed at the Fade or Lurk that was coming from behind, or just a few lifeform kills different, and those engagements would have been so much easier for the Marine team to take. There's been really great organization by these aliens, and they've been playing really, really well on the field, or the Salty Skulks on alien side. But I think Joshy, he's definitely a good commander, has a good sense about how the game works, but just wasn't quite anticipating the arc pressure. Didn't have it quite all together there. So maybe Joshy's showing a few cracks, although he's a top tier player on the field and definitely smart enough to play in the comm chair. Just didn't anticipate the momentum of that Marine team being so unstoppable.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess it's also in parts, I guess Crowbar is main commander, and Joshy, not to offend anyone, but I think he was kind of, not really that on top of his game, yeah. So
he made a mistake that round for sure.
Yeah, made a few mistakes. It's just little things here and there. So it's probably also the routine that Crowbar has and Joshy is lacking in some parts.
Yeah, and stuff that he knows. I'm sure he doesn't normally put structure so close to the hive like that. It's just like this hive room is a little strange with the and this map is a little unfamiliar. I think Mephili's popping that immediately.
The aliens, going to reactor.
Yeah, unfortunately for the aliens, they will be alert, or the Marines will be alerted to the fact that there are aliens on this side of the map. Because Meph did pop that blueprint, the commander will know that there's something going on. Crowbar, the only one ambushing in chemical transport, the rest of his team very far away. It's going to be difficult for him to hold this RT by himself. Maybe he's hoping that there aren't that many Marines here. Gonna wait for the Marines to start shooting, but isn't quite patient enough. The Drifter...
Yeah, he gets
fully
both
inside,
sides, but the Drifter actually gets out in time. So someone hopped in and got the Drifter. Oh no, he got the Drifter back with shift. So he queued the Drifter to go back to the hive, and the RT just finished up in that second. Oh,
What
tunnel in the
happened right
rock.
there? Yeah, the tunnel's been established in the WAC. What happened there on that RT is something that is not technically abuse because it's very difficult to make it happen. It just happens on occasion when the drifter is building on the side of the RT where it kind of limps over on the side as it's building, and then it becomes erect. I know, haha. But that's how the extractors work. They're kind of sagging to the side as they're being builded. And if the drifter builds from that side, it can sometimes be lodged inside the...
Lida losing his gorge already in the WAC.
Yeah, the fights are happening as I'm describing kind of the intricacies of why that drifter didn't die. It doesn't really matter too much, but that's why the drifter wasn't killed. It's because it was lodged inside the RT.
Yeah, I think, but if they had attacked from the correct angle, the drifter would have died anyway, because the drifter, of course, being a soft target, that means bullets can penetrate it. You can shoot the drifter and the RT at the same time.
Yeah, it's just hard when the when
he's inside it. I think the tail just peeked out a bit, but yeah, I mean, easy to say from the top-down perspective. You never know how it looks from the first person.
Ooh, so many life forms dying at the same time. The tunnel taking a huge amount of damage. Is it even really savable at this point? It looks not. The Green Rex gonna completely take the alien presence off the map. Marines not capping past 4 RTs just of yet, but the aliens, all of their res has been putting pressure on all their res node. They need a tunnel on somewhere on this side of the map. Honestly, I think it's not playing the map correctly. I don't know if Crowbar has had enough time to think about this map, to look at this map, but the cyst chain is just so vulnerable in access. You're going to lose, even if you do have that WAC tunnel. I think the WAC is just too far away from the rest of, from being an aggressive tunnel. It's just so far outside of the map.
Yeah, but I mean, I think at least that's what I read from this. The main idea was to hold the WAC and then establish a hive in waste handling, and from the WAC you can actually put a lot of pressure on reactor through the vent that is connecting the WAC and the reactor, and so it's not about saving the chemical transport, but rather denying the Marines. Oh, here you see Risk and Green Rex doing the boost you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, that boost is really useful, and that tunnel is really useful. The one thing I think that does add to what you're saying, that does make what you're saying seem more feasible, is the ability to use these vents to kind of traverse all the lanes. That WAC tunnel being right next to the vent really would allow you to get into reactor quickly, but I don't think it stops anybody from walking in there. Whereas a chemical transport tunnel basically holds all 5 natural resources, or that half of the resources for the map for the alien team.
Yeah,
and
definitely. It's the safer bet, and I think Crowbar and Illugain in general, they have thought a lot about Tanith and Tanith strategies, and I think they even had 1 or 2 scrims on this map, so they had a bit time to experiment a bit, and yeah, seemingly they thought they could pull off the WAC tunnel, but yeah, Marines proved them wrong. So I guess most teams they scrimmed against were not as good as the Saltier Skulks, which is not easy to achieve, to be better than Saltier Skulks, who are currently in the top 3 of this season's leaderboard.
Yeah. Salty, you know, the only people they've really been struggling against are those top tier teams. They're in this big midfield that this season has to offer. There's only 2 teams that really are defining themselves above that. But
oh, Pikachu losing his look against Yuffie and Risk in Satcom. So Mephilis was really low, had to leave, and Pikachu got a bit cocky and tried to get down at least one of these Marines. Overstayed his welcome, paid with his lurk.
They're gonna lose this tunnel again, and the whole res lane gonna be in jeopardy. Looks like they're trying to trade for some res here, or some map control for some res towers here. Ooh, boy. Meth gonna stick this fight, gonna clinch the fight. That's ended up being a good decision for him, but it really puts him in jeopardy. If Greenrex can find him on the egress, he could have killed that life form. Doesn't find him this time. But now a new tunnel, a new res lane reestablished, trying to just hold on to the moment and keep their res alive. The one thing that this has really allowed them to do is neither team has held 5 resources yet safely. It just hasn't happened. So whether or not they've gotten a lot out of playing this map slightly differently than I think is the right way of doing it, it has made it difficult for both teams to hold the resources.
Phase gates have been established, and obviously first position for Marines is Reactor. Methil is going awfully low again, just being 2 pistol shots away from death, but managed to get out. And yeah, so Marines can desist waste, but it's not really that important since there is a tunnel there. Methil is losing his lurk against Datsu.
That's 2 lurks down, and I think Lida is a regorge.
Yeah, it is. He lost his gorge in the WAG pretty early on.
So not a lot of P-res available for this alien team. So much is going to ride on the back of these fades. Lida turning the corner into 2 Marines. Almost dies, but is just barely able to slip out through the tunnel. Yuffie, though, taking the room, waiting for the 2 Skulks to come back into waste. This is the best chance they've had to hold resources. They really need to take out Yuffie here before Datsu can come around the corner.
Gets a hive dropped onto his head, more or less. And yeah, so meanwhile, Joshi is killing upgrades in main base. Gets on the shell to 33%, and Lida now being alone against Risk and Greenrex. Another gorge down from Lida here. That's gotta hurt.
Yeah, so it's interesting to think here what Marines are preferring right now, and having Joshi on the field, that's really the biggest benefit of Joshi as compared to having Ritual in the chair. Joshi is just such a good field player. So for a while there, he was playing out of the chair, and that sort of allowed the Marines to get as much pressure as they are currently implementing.
Yeah.
Imposing, maybe.
O's finally evolved into his fate, but in the same moment, shotguns and weapons too are being researched. So yeah, he has to really look out.
Perfect timing from the Marine perspective. Oh, Yuffie, 1 bullet away from killing the hive! What a crucial moment, because immediately gorging. There's a Marine right around the corner, and Bose is gonna have to brave this fight on his own. Just a few bullets will kill the hive. Oh my god!
Oh yeah, Pikachu just barely in time, but now Risk and Datsu. Risk with a shotgun, and Domestos almost losing his fate already. And yeah, now they double gorged. They really need to hang on to this hive. Yeah, Domestos. Oh, and Bose is about to suffer the same fate. No, decides his fate is more important than this hive right now. Yeah, GG has been called.
Ouch!
Yeah, that really hurt.
Elo with 1, Salty with 3. Great games we saw today. A few missteps, I think, from this second map. A little bit less familiar. Both teams winning their Marine round. Really good play from the Marines to keep the pressure up. But I think the aliens were just so stuck ping-ponging the res lane back and forth. trying to find a way to keep it up. But yeah, Datsu wants us to make sure we're checking endgame stats here for the most important stat: a whole darn minute of build time.
Yeah, but I mean, the Marines, when they forced the aliens to drop a hive in waste handling instead of SATCOM, while holding reactor room in their firm control, that is just a very, very undesirable situation for the aliens. You cannot really hold waste handling when there is a gate in access or reactor room. So if the hive is already really established, then you can pull it off and you can just sandwich access. But dropping a hive on waste handling with a reactor gate established is really the undesired situation for the alien team here, because it's just pushing through access sewer and then waste handling. Even the very long vent from fusion to waste handling will not just make good on this hive. Yeah, and we saw they couldn't hold it, and that was GG. But we still had some interesting games, and yeah, I really liked to see that.
Yeah, and before we jump out of this match, I just want to talk about at least my theory of this map. And it really thinks that, as it doesn't seem very organic compared to the other maps that we have in the map pool to think about the map in this way. But I really think the theory of this map is either to have some kind of tunnel or gate or block in western entrance or in relay. And once the map has been split, you can really develop from there. But because relay is quite a bit closer to the alien start, I think that's the natural decision to get a gorge all the way up into relay. If you want to gamble to go for the other side of the map, for whatever reason you've decided reactor, you want the double res node there, maybe you think you can hold that whole side of the map and acidic if you're on the alien side. I think that's not impossible to imagine that that's the victory you get out of taking that side of the map as aliens. I just think there's a natural way the Marines want to have the left side of the map. It's just easier for them to hold that. The aliens want to have the right side of the map. It's easier for them to hold that. And if you have a theory of oh, well, it's actually really hard for the Marines to hold on to the right side of the map if we develop the left side of the map, I think you have to be prepared to throw that strategy in the trash if you lose that initial engagement. You have to push the Marines basically off the map to establish that tunnel so far forward. I think the WAC just isn't holding that lane well enough. You'd have to get it somewhere near western entrance or the front of reactor room in order to be able to hold that side of the map. And that's just my theory. I know that was a big block of text, but...
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much the strategy we have been seeing here on this map, and it usually works quite well. I mean, it's not a guaranteed win, but yeah, it's I would say, the most established strategy as of now. And I mean, I must really compliment Crowbar on trying something new, but yeah, at least this time it absolutely did not work out whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think maybe if he wants to try that again, I think the thing you get out of it is the ability to take acidic and hold the entire left side of the map. But I don't think it works if you're trying to hold acidic right away.
Yeah.
I think that was a huge mistake to try to hold against two Marines on his own, losing both the RT and his life. If you think maybe Crowbar could have been part of that fight in reactor and you just let the Marines get into your hive, which is never good, but if you're going to play on that side, which maybe it is good to have a player play on that side, I think is you want to have them way far forward in chemical, trying to get parasites and really just slow the Marines down, denying information. That's the kind of way you want to be playing that right side if you're trying to hold reactor or Western or whack. I think just basically allowing those Marines to scout the fact that chemical wasn't being taken by the aliens just allowed them to run all the way back to fusion and just put a huge problem on the docket of the alien side.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely what we saw this game, and yeah, I mean, it just they just tried, and I think maybe I misjudged Krober here, but I guess he just didn't go for the standard strategy just because they were behind and just wanted to do something unexpected, took a risk, and lost.
Yeah, and I think
That's how
his
it goes.
theory of the map is more plausible if you think the Marines are gonna cap.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like, oh, they cap relay, they cap chemical. You got plenty of time. Don't
yeah,
have to worry about it too much. But the Marines realized what was going on relatively quickly, and to their credit, beeline straight for that building res node and got those early victories. And
yeah. It's
yeah,
basically the perfect counter to Krober's strat.
yeah, just read wide open. Anyways, thank you so much for helping facilitate and casting and
Yeah, thanks
running the
for
camel.
joining and supporting me today. That was a fun,
Of course.
just as yesterday.
Yeah.
So, guys, I want to end the stream here and wish you all a very nice evening. If you have the time, maybe join together and instead of just watching NS2, play some NS2 for some change.
What a great idea. As always, love you guys. Stay safe, stay healthy. Go play Gather.